Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma rabbi zidni ilma. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Ameen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. This is the second lecture of partial fractions. And the topic of this lecture is rules for fractions. An important advice. We should be fair to everyone. There are three rules for fractions. Number one, for linear factors in denominator, write a constant in numerator. So let's understand this rule with the help of this example. As we have two linear factors in denominator, so we need to split this fraction into two fractions. One for this factor 2x plus 1 and one for x minus 3. Since both the factors are linear, so we need to write constants in their numerator. This is the way to split fractions of this type. Number 2. For repeated linear factors in denominator, write the fraction twice, once with power 1 and once with power 2, and write constant in their numerator. Let's understand this concept with the help of this example. We make two fractions for repeated linear factor. We write repeated linear factor twice, once with power 1 and once with power 2. And since both factors are linear, so we need to write constants in their numerator. This is rule number 2. Rule number 3. For quadratic factors, write linear factors in numerator. So this is linear and this is quadratic. So we need to split this fraction into two fractions. One for linear factor and one for quadratic factor. Now we need to write constant here because this factor is linear and this is quadratic. So we need to write linear factor here. So for linear factor, write constant, and for quadratic factor, write a linear factor in its numerator. Let's understand these rules with the help of these examples. See, all three factors are linear. So this is the way to split this fraction. We need to split this single fraction into three fractions because there are three linear factors. So 1 plus 2x, 1 minus 2x, 2 plus x. Since all factors are linear, so write constants in their numerator. Example number 2. In this question, we have two factors. One is linear and one is repeated linear. So this fraction can be split into three fractions. One for linear factor and two for repeated linear factors. This fraction is for linear factor and these two are for repeated linear. We write repeated linear twice, once with power 1 and once with power 2. Since all factors are linear, so we need to write constants in their numerator. Next example. In this case, we have two factors in denominator. One is linear and the other one is quadratic. So this fraction can be split into two fractions. One for linear factor and the other one for quadratic factor. This is linear and this is quadratic. So write constant here and linear factor here. Hope this lecture will help you to understand the concepts of rules of fractions well. I will discuss solution of partial fractions in my next lecture, inshallah. Good luck and Allah Hafiz.